Listens and will continue to listen in the upcoming year. Another thank you goes out to our wonderful sponsors. With everyone's support, Nctv45 will continue to grow. The staff and management of Nctv45 want to send sincere wishes that you have a successful and prosperous new year. Happy New Year from Nctv45.
Entrusting your loved one to a funeral director is a very personal and emotional decision.
The William and Roger DeCarbo Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1941.
If you're hungry, don't be out in the desert. Head on down to the old Oasis. It's the Oasis Bar, 303 South Jefferson Street. Call 724-652-6104. Because you deserve more. It's 4-star pizza. We deliver too. Well, now it's time to get to the birthdays. Ryan Anthony Stoner, happy birthday. Diana Rankin, happy birthday. Brock Ross, happy birthday. Michael Medore, happy birthday. Lindsay Austin, happy birthday. Tammy Allen, happy birthday. Make sure you get that second piece of birthday cake and celebrate all weekend long. Hello and welcome to Nctv45 Newswatch as we reflect back on 2023 and give a very thankful and positive report on our friends in the Newcastle media. Well, WLTJ, now 104.7, as this is an old picture, still alive and broadcasting. And what you should know is your good friend Gary West, pictured here with yours truly and my son. Gary's doing well, does some work for or some voices for the WLTJ and for Nctv45, and that's one of the things that I think we should be very thankful for as one of the hidden treasures in what I call the greatest castle of the world. Here's another hidden treasure, the Newcastle News. Yeah, I know a lot of times it's easy to give negative connotations with respect to things here in Newcastle or Lawrence County. Well, here are some of the positive events, maybe in the last 2 months or 8 weeks, that you should be kind of aware of, and some of them via the Newcastle News. Cassie Smith, and before I talk about her, Debbie Wagner wrote the article on November 23rd, 2023. Cassidy Smith felt grateful to Matthew Morabito, an Elwood City police officer, and Josh Sight, who helped her during a very stressful time. 2 bullets lodged in Kathy's head are permanent reminders of a horrific night of her and her boyfriend reportedly opened gunfire, several injuring her and her mother in their Elwood City apartment. But she was grateful for the police bravery, and the story reported in the Newcastle News, and that type of reporting, very difficult to do, and hats off to Debbie Wagner for a great story. Now, as we go through these, make sure you go back and possibly take a gander at some of these great things that happened. Stranger prepares Thanksgiving meal for a recent widow in Slippery Rock Township. Gwen Alberts, and I apologize, Gwen, if I messed that up, wrote in the Newcastle News on the 23rd about Rose Foster, an event planning team from Giant Eagle, right there on Butler Avenue, left and store manager, they left the store. Ryan Johnson gave Carol Norton of Slippery Rock Township a Thanksgiving dinner prepared by store employees Tony Carter as a recent widow. Now, that's a pretty positive story as we continue on. How about cancer support and a group listening? Now, I know a lot of you people know these folks. I know these folks. And they were mentioned in the news. They're viewers of NCTV45. Carol Peak and Diane DeTillo and Carmi and I don't want Grazius shared a laugh during a Newcastle Cancer Support Group meeting. The group had been part of the community for 25 years. Gwen wrote this story on November 27th. Okay, just a few weeks prior to the December rush. Gwen also wrote about local deer hunters donating deer to feed the needy. And those deer hunters, Taylor Orelli, got a 6-point buck. And she was pictured in the news with A.J. Morelli. Now, as we got to December, and maybe your schedule got a little bit busier, maybe you missed this. The Neshannock man reflected on life volunteer service. And this was Arthur McDonald, a maintenance technician for the Shannock Woods rental community, that reflected on his volunteerism. This wrote by Nick Versella, who does a great job down at the Newcastle News. And I thank Nick for all of his articles. You know, these are the type of readings that may help stimulate your mind just from viewing videos. We get a lot caught up with not reading, and reading may be something that may be very, very helpful. Nick went on to write another article. Neshannock was conducting a holiday Make-A-Wish fundraiser, and the Neshannock High School Superintendent's Advisory Council was helping with this Make-A-Wish, and a lot of young folks involved. That was December 9th. Now, just a few of these great activities that you may have missed. It's always been a tradition here in Newcastle, and they had Shop with a Cop. It created a Merry Christmas, and Debbie Wagner was reporting on it December 14th as she showed youngsters happy that they had the opportunity to do something like that. And what a great feeling. Laurel Girl Scouts were honored and or honored Shenango World War II veteran. And Nick chipped in with this as members of the Laurel Girl Scouts Troop 46727 visited Shenango Township. Dominic Alusha, and they did that on Monday, and he had his 101st birthday. Wow. Think about that a second. That is pretty significant. You know, the Newcastle News also recognized somebody during this time. And you're probably wondering who it was. It was Nctv45, yes, yours truly, as the Newcastle News chipped in and talked about my personal experiences. And Nick wrote this article back on October 9th. It was updated on Halloween, and it talked about the fact that Nctv45, myself, 11 years doing this. Not as long as the news. They have a far longer tradition than me. But, wow. That's reaching across the aisle and greatly appreciated. And I thank them for everything that they have written and done in that past year. You know, Nctv45, a friend of the Newcastle News, and I hope a friend of yours, but I hope all the media sources in Newcastle are given the credit that they so much need. Because, you know, it's been a rough ride. We know how bad the economy is. But I thought I'd share in this segment just some really, really great things that were going on in Lawrence County in 2023. We'll be back right after this.
This program was provided through funding from Cedars Restaurant in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. A special thanks to Cedars, featuring Middle Eastern, Italian, and American cuisine.
Hello and welcome to Lindy's Lunch. Yes, whether it's their great breakfast or, just like it says, lunch, it's great anytime. Yes, it's Lindy's Lunch. For the best, stop by. Give us a call. Hello and welcome to the Sports Corner Report. Let's get to the NHL. Well, your Pittsburgh Penguins in action as the Pens taking on, and at home I might add, 7 o'clock on the plus, the St. Louis Blues. Let's go Pens. Elsewhere in the NHL, here's what you're looking at. And all games on the plus. Minnesota at Winnipeg, 3 o'clock plus. Columbus, Buffalo, 5 o'clock. New Jersey, Boston, 7 o'clock. Carolina, Toronto, 7 o'clock. That's on the NHL Network. Rangers, Tampa Bay. That's on the plus at 7. Montreal, Florida, 7 o'clock. Nashville, Washington, 7 o'clock on the plus. Edmonton and the LA Kings, 10 o'clock on the plus. Don't forget the Pens, they're on at 7 o'clock, and they will be on the plus taking on the Blues. Pens at home. Now, as you get over to the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys taking on Detroit, who has made the playoffs for the first time in years, will be in action on Saturday football. That game at 8:15, ESPN and ABC. Now over to the bowl matchups. Ole Miss at Penn State, 12 o'clock. That's the Peach Bowl, ESPN. Auburn at Maryland, 2 o'clock. That's a Perfect Music Bowl at 2. That ABC and ESPN. Georgia, Florida State, 4 o'clock. ESPN. That's the Orange Bowl. And Toledo, Wyoming, 4:30. They're on the CW network. And Barstool. It's the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. Remember when things like all the Orange Bowl used to be played on New Year's Day? Let's get over to the NBA. As not a large schedule, but here you go. The Miami Heat, they're in action on the road, taking on Utah at 5 o'clock. Toronto takes on Detroit, who's looking for a win. The New York Knicks taking on the Indiana Pacers at 7. Detroit plays at 6, by the way. So at 8 o'clock, the 76ers taking on the Bulls, and that's up in Chicago. Los Angeles Lakers taking on Minnesota at 8 o'clock. And then Dallas takes on Golden State. That at 8:30. So the first 3 games, 5, 6, 7, 8 for you. And then Golden State ending at 8:30. Now, college basketball. And this interesting matchup. So, and quite a few games, at least more than we've seen. First of all, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will be in action, not only in football, but also in basketball. This on the ACC network at noon. And they're taking on West Virginia. Pitt on the road taking on Syracuse. That on the CW. Now, as we get a little later in the day, and both the Pitt and Notre Dame games at noon, by the way. Columbia at Fordham, 1 o'clock. That on the plus. Davidson at Ohio, 1:30 on the plus. Indiana State at Michigan State, 2 o'clock, FS1. Princeton at Delaware, 2 o'clock. Alabama at Liberty, 2 o'clock. And as we go down, UCLA at Oregon, 4 o'clock, CBS. Chicago State at DePaul, 4 o'clock, FS1. Campbell at St. Francis, PA, 4 o'clock. Getting a little later, Akron at St. Bonaventure, 4 o'clock, that on the plus. Dartmouth at Vanderbilt, 5 o'clock, that on the plus and the SEC network. Penn at Houston, 7 o'clock, that on the plus. And a lot of games, Yale at Santa Clara, 7 o'clock on the plus. As we move a little closer to the end of the day, UC Irvine at Cal State. Bakersfield, 10 o'clock on the plus. Cal State Fullerton at Hawaii, that 11:59. And the first one was Bakersfield, so not to get you too confused. But go over to Cedars, get some great food, and by all means enjoy the games. We're going to take a time out. We'll be back. Allie's Upper Crust at 1700 Highland Avenue has a full menu. Don't forget to give them a call at 724-652-7553. It's Allie's Upper Crust.
This program furnished by Sporting Goods, 23 East Washington Street, Newcastle. Call 724-658-2535.
Los Amigos! Ladies and gentlemen, if you need a good bite to eat, make sure to check out Los Amigos. They got you covered with things such as tacos, burritos, mocajete. It's Los Amigos. Los Amigos! Los Amigos! Los Amigos! Los Amigos!
Welcome back. As we look forward to 2024, we look back fondly on 2023 with some great marks of achievement that occurred and awards that were given to Nctv45. Of course, you already know we're available on 18 different media sources as you see those in the top corner of your screen. But we were awarded from the state Senate, the state House, the Lawrence County Commissioners, Till College, who had awarded us earlier during what I would call the COVID period of the world. These fine awards, recognition of Nctv45 and the job and the tasks and the enjoyment that we had bringing to you. The last decade has truly been extraordinary, and we've enjoyed every step of the way. But we didn't do it alone. There were great sponsors that were on our page. I hope you visit those local businesses. They really are out there for you. Great media sources that recognized Lawrence County. I hope you recognize them because they are out there for you. And Nctv45, the train will keep going along and keep on rolling into what I call the greatest castle in the world, in the county of Lawrence. It was great having you as an audience, seeing you along. We'll be back with a wrap-up right after this. This program sponsored by Penn Ohio Bottled Water Company. Brian Ches, owner. Call 724-498-4760. Brian would be glad to visit.
These fine businesses provided funding for this program. Gatherings, Town and Country, and On Target.
Hi, pizza friends. You can still find delicious Augustine's Pizza at your local supermarket. The folks at Augustine's Pizza hope that their pizza is always your first choice for any and all occasions.
Hello, I'm Kay, and K is for Kimmel's. It's Kimmel's, home of the delicious, super mouth-watering strudels. Call Kimmel's for the best baked goods. Today's programming is brought to you by Nctv45 and NC Radio 450, Newcastle's community television station.
At our law firm, we see you. Come see us at lgkg.com.
There's more than meets the eye. Gotta give every Newcastle a try. The right small town for living. Look around.
That's going to do it for this edition of Newswatch. As you go through your day, make sure you tell a friend, and have a friend tell a friend about Nctv45. They'll be glad you did. And when they say, oh geez, I don't watch that much TV, why, you tell them this.
NCTV45, The Train, anytime on your time.
That's right, we're NCTV45 The Train, and we're available anytime on your time. A train that runs on your schedule, that's NCTV45. Now, as you go through your day, make sure you get that second cup of coffee and have a super day in what I call the greatest castle in the world in the county of Lawrence. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.